Yo ho ho ho, and a bottle of rosé today. Welcome to PlayStation Unchained. I am indeed your host again, Neil Bolt, joined again by Ben Shellable Hall.
I am here, as always. They keep me in the
And
closet and wheel me out whenever I'm needed and then put me back in again. It is a weird life.
he does have an internet connection, to be fair, and
Yeah.
clearly Final Fantasy 14, so it's not all bad.
Well, no, I can't complain.
You're living the best life. Also joining us today in a little trio this week is Gary Bagdazaro.
I'm here. Welcome me.
I did. Hi.
I'm sorry, but I'm too busy remembering those amazing biscuits that used to exist. Remember, trios?
You remember it? Trio.
Trio.
I think I saw one the other week. To be honest.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember. Can't remember why. Can't remember when, but I did definitely see one. I'm sure of that. Oh, so yeah, it's post E3 now. You know, not much has happened. Well, some stuff has happened. Most of it's people whinging, but you know, we're not here to talk about people whinging. We do our own whinging. Thank you very much, and it's very good too. Let's just check a few news bits out for old time's sake that have come in the weeks, because there's a few little bits. Free Fields Entertainment, who made people there made Burnout series originally. They're making a spiritual successor in the game Dangerous Driving, which, I mean, when I say spiritual successor, I mean to like the original Burnout games, in that, you know, there's no like free roaming sort of stuff. So that looks rather interesting. What else do we have? We saw, God, yeah, little information on Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was basically, yeah, it's going great. Not great enough that we can show it to you yet. I think it was the.
It exists. We promised it exists.
Yeah. Rashid in Street Fighter 5 will have the best costume ever when he gets an Airman from Mega Man costume. And Ken gets to dress up as Dante, so that's something, I suppose. PlayStation Hits range was announced, basically the Platinum collection, but with red boxes.
I find it funny, actually. The day before this was announced, I was in CEX with a mate, and they were selling like Platinum PS1 games. I'm like, I told him, I remember these used to be like 20 quid, the Platinum games. I wonder if they'll come back someday. Next day, Classic Collection announced.
I know, it was like back in April. I started writing up a story that was that this was coming.
Yeah,
and it was but it was for a different region, and it turned out it was an old story, and I was like, okay, I wasted my time, and here we are 2 months later, it happened anyway. So such is life with that. Hey,
Jerry,
games.
didn't the Platinum Collection have like a red border in America anyway, or am I just getting confused with something? Have we killed Gary?
I think he's in stunned silence from watching the Germany-Sweden game.
Sorry, what was that? My bad.
I said, didn't the Platinum Collection have like a red border in Japan, in America? Or was that? I remember something about that being. Was it the PS2 era?
Platinum Collection.
Mm-hmm.
Like Platinum Games Collection?
No,
the cheap brand of PlayStation games.
No, it was the greatest hits.
The greatest hits was red, wasn't it?
No, it was never red. It was, well, actually, what was it? It was green on the PS1.
Yeah.
I don't think they had one on the PS2. They had it on the PS3 as greatest hits, and that one was red, yes.
Yeah.
Wow. That's news. So you didn't have games, the Platinum Collection in games on PS1 and PS2?
Not that I could remember, no.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, PS1 it was called Greatest Hits, and they had like a big green slab on them, which was cool because they brought back games that became rare and hard to find, like the hard copies. And then when they re-released them as the Greatest Hits, obviously they lost their value because they re-released them. But it was great to be able to pick up those games without having to pay like $150 for them. So.
I'm just happy my memory didn't trick me too much, because I remember something like that happening, but, you know.
I hated those boxes, man. I really did.
Those boxes were ugly.
Looking back at the news, it has been quite quiet-ish, apart from the big hullabaloo that's been going on this week that we're not going to bother with because we've discussed it at length and are very tired. Very, very tired. In fact, we've discussed it on this show before, the whole crossplay thing, a couple of months ago, I think, in fact.
No, don't say it. You'll bring in the people. You'll summon them with your words. Don't just...
What? Like if I say Gamegate, they'll just suddenly appear like some sort of Hellraiser sequel.
Yes, that's how they work.
We know that Hunk and Tofu will be in the Resi 2 remake, which is great. Yeah, it's all good.
But I want to.
You all what?
There was an April Fool's that came out in a magazine once, and I think it was like a Game Pro, I think. Where their April Fool's was there's an unlock to play as Akuma in Resident Evil 2. And they had screenshots of him doing like the Hadokens on zombies and stuff. It was great.
What?
Yeah.
Daft.
Well, there's your DLC, Capcom. Resident Evil 2 is a game of service.
What else did we learn in the last week? AJ Styles is the cover star for WWE 2K19. That's pretty much all we learned. They held a press conference for 20 minutes. Just to tell us that, really.
To be fair, it's still more content than the Bethesda concert, than the Square Enix conference.
I was going to say, whoa, steady. You can't.
I was talking about. I was thinking more of the Bethesda stream beforehand. You know, the one where they made people wait 24 hours to find out that Fallout exists.
Time is. And yet, you know what's funny is, despite all that, more people ended up watching Fallout 76 trailer than have watched the Fallout 4 trailer, real trailer. How about that? And considering the implications of everything in that, like, you know, how Fallout 4 got received after it came out, and, you know, the long wait, it's very odd that it's already out doing it in numbers on YouTube. What else did we learn? Most of this is reviews and stuff, which we'll be talking about in our games played. Crossplay. And PS Now games may be downloadable from September, but only PS4 ones because, you know, infrastructure.
Yeah.
So that was the main little bits. There's, you know, otherwise it's just lots of people whinging about Minecraft and Fortnite all week. So, which is handy because neither of those games will be mentioned in what we've been playing. So we definitely will avoid any further talk of this thing at all. Right, let's see. We can talk about games we played. Ben, I know you haven't got much.
Yeah, I haven't got much at all.
But by all means, you start.
Okay, I'll start. I played Overwatch for a bit. I've been playing with a friend recently. Didn't really play much because I suck at it, but, you know, it's one of those games I don't mind playing occasionally just for fun. And I've been playing Fantasy 14. I know everyone's shocked and confused at that statement. But yeah, I finally beat God Kefka, which is turn 08S, and I'm very proud of my static because they did an amazing job carrying me. Now it's taken us quite a few months, I think, to about a month and a half to clear. And now that we've done it, we're going to try and do it again next week if possible and keep going on until we get on farm. It's a good fight and I enjoy it, even if it is ridiculously hard.
It's totally worth it though, Ben.
Yeah.
You're beating a god. What'd you expect?
Yeah.
And Kefka is a god in that game.
Yeah, the fight is definitely fun. I recommend anyone who plays the game to try and join a group and do it someday because
Well, I have a question for you then, Ben. Yeah. After doing that fight and seeing him and all his holy gloriness, does it make you want to play 6?
Yeah, it does.
Just because of him?
Yeah, just because of him.
Yes.
Well, because all the fights are based on 6 as well, so... but yeah, it's definitely a game I want to try someday. There's also an Easter egg in 05. What is it? Yeah, 05, that if you've played Fantasy 6, you'll know about it. But only those that have played 6 will know what the Easter egg is about. So... but yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. There you go. So that's your list, is it?
Yeah, that's my list. I played 2 games. I don't play many games. Which is funny, considering the fact I'm a PlayStation... Yeah. Hey, at least my game already has crossplay.
Oh, you had to go there. That one. Yeah, I understand, Gary, that you muted yourself because Germany did indeed just score a last-minute winner as we were playing this. What a mad.
Yeah, I muted myself. I started screaming. My mom freaked out.
I'll be honest, I'm so happy that this flat had soundproofing walls, because otherwise they would have just been confused from the sounds I would have been making when I beat Kafka for the first time.
It's like beating a Dark Souls boss, but with more people.
Almost like the time where I hurt my arm when I pulled the LR trunks.
Oh my god.
Hurt your arm pulling on your trunks there.
Yeah, you hurt your arm pulling up your trunks, I bet.
So, I suppose that moves us on to Gary, now that he's come over that shock at Germany.
That was crazy.
Doing the do.
Crazy. With 10 men, too. Wow.
Yeah.
No, I've actually played quite a few stuff. I reviewed a couple games. I'll start with Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn.
Oh, that must have been delightful.
It wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought there were some pretty funny moments in it, even though a lot of people will be disgusted with those moments. I took it as they're just having fun, so let them have fun. It mostly comes down to a lot of stereotypical stuff that they do there. Some may find it racist, but you see it in movies all the time. As far as combat, it was fun. Like, it was super basic and simple. There wasn't really anything to unlock or any moves to unlock or anything like that. What you had is what you had throughout the whole game. Mostly stuck to one combo the entire time. Stuff you'd expect. The thing that hurt that game the most to me is a lack of co-op in any way, shape, or form. They're just single player only, and that hurts so much in a beat 'em up. Never want that in a beat 'em up at all. But yeah, no, it was fun. I enjoyed the art style. I like getting the Big D mech suit. That's what it's called.
Jesus.
Yeah, you just run around in the big mech suit and just wobble everything. That was fun. You also get a cactar suit, and you throw cactus spikes at people. That was fun. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Very good, like cartoon hand drawn cutscenes too. Very impressed with those in that game. But other than that, like I said in my review, once you finish it, there's really no reason to go back because there's no different difficulty modes. There's no unlocks at all. Like, it's just that.
Yeah.
It's kind of poopy. But not as bad as I was expecting it to be.
Which is something. Reputation alone would say you're going in for a bad time. Going from the first game alone.
Yeah, like I wish it had co-op. I wish it had co-op with like the inside the NBA team with Charles Barkley and those guys. You guys probably don't know who I'm talking about, but
I don't know. I did follow basketball in the late '90s, so it's
Yeah, like they have the whole panel on inside the NBA where it's him, Shaq, and two other guys who were NBA players as well, except for one of them wasn't. He was just a commentator, I think. But those guys have so much fun. Like that's the only reason to watch the NBA on TNT half of the time is just for their halftime rambles. It was great, but it would have been fun to have other NBA players as co-op partners, but we'll see if they ever make another one, what they can do. But definitely better than the first game, that's for sure.
You also reviewed BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle.
Yes, I did. And good, not great. Should have been great. When you're making a game with 4 other franchises as a combination mixture crossover thing.
Yeah.
Include more than 4 characters from them.
Yeah.
I don't it's not a small roster. There's 20 characters, but it feels so small when half of that roster is just BlazBlue characters. And BlazBlue is in the title, but that doesn't mean that when you have Persona 4 in there and RWBY and even what's it called? Under Night in Birth, which is a newer franchise, but they have 20 characters in their own game. Only including 4 from those 2 franchises and only 2 from RWBY. That's just insane. I couldn't I don't know. To me, it's just weird, but it's fun. If you've played Dragon Ball FighterZ, it uses the exact same system that one does. Very simple. Every character has the exact same button presses for moves now, just like that game does. I would see a lot of tournament players being upset, especially if they've come out of BlazBlue learning how to do these hardcore combos. They won't be able to pull them off this time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, they probably could with a little more practice. They'll essentially have to change how they play the game.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It's fully dubbed, which I was not expecting at all. Since Arc System usually never dubs their games without a big publisher behind them. BlazBlue and Guilty Gear has never really been dubbed. And this one was fully voice dubbed, which was very interesting to me. And very good dub, too. They got a lot of popular Japanese... Or not Japanese, anime voice actors. I recognize a lot of voice actors in that game. But yeah, it's what you would expect from a fighting game. I personally think it should have been their Marvel vs. Capcom Arc System Works, at least, and it wasn't. It's baffling that they have this crossover with Persona and Under Night and Ruby, but why didn't they do a crossover with Guilty Gear, their second biggest franchise? Why is there no Guilty Gear characters? It's really confusing. The worst thing is a lot of the DLC characters, because they announced 30 DLC characters they're going to implement into the game. So the DLC roster is already bigger than the main roster in the game. And a lot of the characters you fight that aren't even in the game. You fight them in the story mode, but you can't play with them, which just makes me believe they're already on the disc. And you just unlock, which is not something you want to do because Capcom did that with Street Fighter 4 and it didn't go very well for them at all.
No, to say the least.
But yeah, it's fun, it's simple, but it's not magnificent. And I think the sprites are kind of lower res too as well, from what I saw. I remember playing BlazBlue, the PS4 one that they released, though I think it was Chrono Phantasma. Looked gorgeous, but here it looks like they took sprites from the PS3 versions of those games and used them here, no updated sprites, which was very you see a lot of jagged edges on a lot of the characters, unfortunately.
Considering what they can do, it's disappointing.
It really is. If you're, like I said, you're doing a big cross fighting game, especially when your Arc System works and you're essentially the leader in 2D fighting games at this point. I would seriously think they could have done more. It feels like it's not even the B team that made the game; it's the C team, because the A team is doing fighters and the B team is probably doing a new Guilty Gear or something.
Well, the B team's probably making the fighters on the Switch because I heard there's quite a few bugs with it.
I feel like Arc System Works is stretching themselves way too thin at this point. Like, they were working on fighters, they're working on BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. Now we know that they're kind of they're working on Kill la Kill now. They announced that, like, they're porting fighters to Switch. Like, I think they're stretching themselves way too thin. Like, I don't know how big that studio is, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it's what you don't want to hear, isn't it? That they're doing that to themselves. Such is.
Yeah. What else did I play? I played Black Ops 3 because it was free, and I deleted it the moment I finished the story.
Oh, you went further than I did. I downloaded it, saw it 73 gig, and was like, nah.
I've downloaded it, and I've just looked at it, and haven't actually played it yet.
Well, it's kind of sad when you download it, and the first thing that pops up is pre-order Call of Duty 4 and get these maps free right now. And there's this big splash screen that I didn't even know how to get out of. I literally had to press almost every button to close that.
No, I must admit, the worst thing about that is, I know it sounds stupid, but it's nice that we can get the maps from pre-ordering, but on Xbox and PC, you can't even get the maps at all.
Yeah.
Because then there's no pre-order. It's an exclusive thing for PlayStation. So if they want the maps, they're going to have to wait until Black Ops 4 actually comes out.
So sad. But yeah, no, I can see why they don't have campaign in the next Call of Duty, because that's probably where it started to go downhill, and I'm sure everything after that wasn't very good either, from what I hear.
It's like they don't. For me, I found that they just don't want to do it anymore, and you can tell through what comes out.
Well,
the only way they can get them interested is by saying, "Here, have some famous people to put in it," and that's it.
Well, so there might be Call of Duty campaigns in the future. It's just not this one, so who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they're gonna have to rework a lot of stuff, because I don't understand what happened.
Nothing. That's pretty much what happened. They did nothing.
I used to buy Call of Duty just to play the campaign. I never touched the multiplayer in Call of Duty. It was up. Black Ops 3 was the one I stopped buying them. I never bought Black Ops 3. Ghost was the last one I bought, and I hated the campaign in that one so much that I think it turned me off from everything else after that. And that was the end for me. Like, I wanted to buy World War II because it went back to World War II, and I loved World at War. But after talking to people and reading your review, Neil, I'm like, why? It's World War II. How can you go wrong? This is where you started. How can you mess up where you started?
I just when some games got shat on for doing something a little bit different, no matter, even if it is flawed, whatever you want, and it's like, and then you see the same outlets giving this a safe 8, if you will. It's like, I don't get where you're getting that number from at this point.
I don't. To me, I was a campaign guy with Call of Duty. I never really cared for multiplayer, but yeah, I can see why no more single player for them. For now, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how badly they cock up trying to jump onto the Battle Royale train. Because if they do that wrong, then all they're left with is their own shooter, which now, because Battle Royale has become such a big thing, means that they will be the dated shooter. They will be the relic now, and that will be it. And
well, everything else they're doing right now feels like a relic. So
imagine if PUBG starts suing them.
I just hope the Battle Royale thing dies just as fast as the MOBA craze did. I don't see why people enjoy that mode. I personally don't enjoy it at all.
I enjoy it, but not as much as other people seem to do it.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't want to talk about Call of Duty. It's still sour in my mouth.
Yeah, it's going back to it with World War II after Ghosts and having that gap in between. Yeah, nothing had changed. If anything, it's the moments that were kind of good. I think there was like an espionage style level in there that was like reminded me of the ones used to get in Medal of Honor on the PS1. Yeah, I mean, which were the good things then, and good now-ish. Bit of tension to it, but it's predictable as hell. You know that it's going to be, someone's going to kind of catch you out, but they're not going to. And then when you think you've got through, someone's definitely going to find out who you are 5 seconds later, meaning the whole mission pointless because it ends with you getting caught out anyway. So, what was the point of the stealth? What was the point of the? Just stupid. Just stupid, boring, dull nonsense.
Yeah, just briefly, I finished Detroit: Become Human. I did enjoy it. My one biggest complaint in that game is the fact that the characters' personalities change so much depending on your decisions. It makes them so unbelievable to me. Like, in a way, I hate the fact that you have so much choice because you build your character throughout the game, like, in one specific way. You know, like Marcus. I built him to be sympathetic towards humans and androids at the same time. Like, don't be violent, don't do any of that stuff. And then towards the end of the game, you'll know what I'm talking about, Neil. He's like shooting dudes in the face. With like Nora Morris. And I can't control that.
I avoided that, I have to say. But I avoided that somehow. It's like I did go very, very, very passive. But
I tried to, but when I tried to save everybody, I was forced to kill dudes. And it really killed the character that I had built up to be a certain way.
Yeah, that end section that you're talking about, where like everyone's choices started coming together, and there's some really quick fire stuff that you're like straight afterwards. If you fuck it up, like, for fuck's sake, I would have done that differently. Like the Kara thing in that area was the first rash decision I made because time was a factor, and it's just like that, and instantly I regretted it. But great, because it works, because in that situation it was a rash decision. None of the options seemed like a sure bet, and made the mistake, whatever happened.
And the biggest one that really irritated me was Connor's decision in that section where you didn't really build him up in a way to either be sympathetic for the androids and kind of become what's the word that they call them when they go rogue like that?
Oh, yeah, deviant.
Yeah, deviant. Like,
damn you, deviant!
They essentially just, you work one way or another with him throughout the whole game, and you see this kind of progression, and every time you start with him, it tells you if he's becoming more and more deviant or not, depending on your choices throughout the whole game. And then at the end, in that section, they're like, okay, make your choice. Do you want to be deviant or not? What the hell is that? Like, they straight up just black and white decision. Like, I wish that decision would have just happened depending on how you built him up instead of just giving you that choice. Because if I would have said, okay, don't become a deviant, everything I worked for meant nothing.
It also places you in a very tricky place because you're there with two of the characters you've been controlling their stories in the same section, and it puts you in a point where you have to choose to go with one of their, you want to be able to save them and make sure everyone's all right, and that means you kind of have to betray something of one of the characters, and so your run does get a bit soured. As you say, it makes that weird messiness to Connor's story, especially towards the end.
Yeah, it just every decision felt black and white, and it kind of just bothered me. Like, that, to me, that's the biggest flaw for me personally in that game, was the fact that I built my character for like 10 missions or 10 chapters a certain way, and I get to this one chapter and it's like I make one different choice and their entire personality is completely different. Like, to me, it just bothered me. But other than that, I enjoyed Detroit very much. Like I said, I enjoy all of his games. To me, I still think Beyond Two Souls is the best one that Quantum Dream has done. Just from a personal standpoint, I love the story, and I love Ellen Page as an actress. So, and William Dafoe. You can't go wrong with William Dafoe.
Not nearly mad enough in that. That's a problem.
Yeah, I guess so.
I want my full-on Norman Osborn version of Willem Dafoe if I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
It's just batshit.
I've been playing another game for review. The review's not out yet, but it should be up probably on Monday once I get it written out. Playing Anima, Gate of Memories, The Nameless Chronicles. Fun game. It's a hard game to dislike, and it's also a hard game to like at the same time. It's always a 50-50. Like, even the first game was like that. The first game was just called Anima Gate of Memories. There's some moments in those games where it's this breathtaking visual style. The lighting is amazing. It just feels great. Everything works perfect. And then the next section, you're in this dark, nasty cave, and things don't work right. The camera gets stuck on shit. And it's essentially kind of the same thing here. But I thoroughly enjoy. I'm not going to talk too much about it because it's a very niche title. It's based on I think it's a South American D&D type of game called Anima. You'll probably see a lot of art for it from a Korean artist. He did a lot of the art for the books and stuff. Very gorgeous game. Very cool ideas. Demons, angels, Nephilim. Robots. It does a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, this game essentially takes place during the same time as the first one in the same tower, and you play as this character called Nameless. He's called Nameless because he's immortal. He's been alive for centuries, and he essentially has forgotten who he is because he's lived so many lives. So they just call him Nameless now. And you encounter him in the first game. You fight against him because you don't really know why he's there and what he's trying to do. And this story essentially tells you his backstory, who he is, and why he's in the same tower that was called the Bearer and Ergo Mundus were the two characters from the first game that you played as. Yeah. But it's a good game. Like, it's real. Like, every time I played it, I was like, man, this is starting to piss me off. And then, but for some reason, I really enjoyed the things that pissed me off about it. It's very weird to describe. And it has one of the most epic final bosses I've experienced in a very long time in a video game. Visually spectacular. Visually incredibly spectacular boss fight. Incredibly infuriating, but spectacular. But yeah, the other two games I played, I went back and started playing Killing Floor 2, and I've been doing a lot of co-op with Chris, and Tim sometimes joins us. Lots of fun still. They introduced some new boss. It's like this fat clown who's got body armor, and we still can't beat him.
Fat clown. Love it.
Yeah, he's got like this metal armor, so you got to destroy his armor before you can damage him, and we still can't. And it's weird because like he takes a dump on the floor. Literally, he takes a dump, and his poop is green, and it like a monster comes out of it and starts chasing you and blows up. And he also poops on the ground and leaves essentially mines. If you step on it, it explodes. It's a terrible boss fight. We still haven't been able to kill him because he just does so much crazy shit that just kills us so quickly. And yesterday, Chris and I actually glitched the fight out yesterday, and we spawned another one. So we had to fight two at the same time. It didn't end well for us at all.
Yeah. I won't imagine.
But yeah, no, it's a fun game. I enjoy it.
I should download it sometime and join you guys again.
You definitely should, man. It's just waves of zombies and monsters and killer clowns, and you just try to survive until the end, and you fight the boss at the final wave.
Killing Floor 2, right?
Yep. It was free on PS Plus.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that game. And they keep supporting it, which is cool. They just released the summer event where you're on a steampunk airship, which is pretty fun. And they introduced some robot enemies too. The like fucking rocket launchers coming out of their shoulder pads and stuff. Still a very fun game. And the last one, I started Assassin's Creed Origins because I've had this huge hard-on since Odyssey was announced. I'm so into Odyssey right now, and
if you had that huge hard-on, I don't want to know what Mike has right now. We miss you, Mike, but I can't imagine. I saw it,
and it's now a full RPG, and it reminded me a lot of Dragon Age Inquisition now, and I'm all for that. And I started Origins because I heard, you guys talking about Origins. It's very RPG-like now, and I've played a little bit, and I'm enjoying it. Like, I haven't enjoyed an Assassin's Creed since, I guess, Black Flag, really. And I never really finished Black Flag because I got really bored with it. But yeah, it's great. The changes they're making to Assassin's Creed, I think, are all for the positive at this point.
Definitely.
And yeah, I'm enjoying Origins right now. My only problem is I feel like that game was designed for the Pro, because I see videos of it and it looks amazing, and then I'm playing it myself and it doesn't look as amazing, and I'm assuming they're playing it on the Pro.
I mean, it's one of those things as well. I don't know. Videos always seem different to me, regardless. But like, there are moments in that game that look really good, regardless. I think, and you just have to sort of get into the mood of it. After a while, you don't notice. I think, but yeah, it does have a bit of an oomph when you have better settings coming up. But
and I had to get used to fighting with R1 and R2 like I did in God of War, and it's still funky to me. I keep hitting square to attack, and he like dodges into the dude's attack. God damn. But yeah, I'm not too far. I'm probably like 2 hours into it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Even though it's, like I said, to me, the setting of Egypt is not my favorite. Everything is a golden color, and not my favorite. But like I said, it really made me want to play an RPG. Odyssey did. So Origins is a good one to go in and see what the future of Odyssey holds, I guess.
Yeah.
The direction they're
going. No doubt.
So yeah, that's really all the big ones that I played. So
Splendido. Yeah, I've got a few, I suppose, as well. Not so many reviews, but in the sense of I just end up getting a lot of games at the minute, and we'll just go back to stuff. I mean, just before we got to E3, I'd just done Onrush and Vampire, which I can't remember if I even talked about. I'll have to have a quick look back at the other, what do I call it? Unchained feed. So it will be in the thing. But I guarantee it'll probably be one of the weeks I didn't tell Ben what to write. And
well, I don't think you've talked about it because it was still under embargo, I think.
Yeah, might have. Yeah, Vampire had very good fun with it despite its flaws, and Onrush, best racing game that isn't a racing game. Basically, it's SSX tricky with cars, and that's great. So that's all I'll say on that. In case I have said any more, let's go through the list. Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon, which is obviously a strange little spin-off of the game that won't ever come out at this rate. It's like a NES era.
From the way it sounds, the version that you're playing is going to be better than the actual game.
Yeah, I mean that's the weird thing. It's like that Mega Man 11 looks like the better version of Mighty Number 9.
It's kind of sad, really.
But yeah, yes. That's quite fun. I quite enjoyed that. I mean, I have to admit, I played that on Switch, but I can count it as a cross-play game because it's on PS4 as well. What else did I play? Lots of things. I got PSVR, so now I've got a lot of VR stuff I've played in the last few weeks. Highlights. I mean, PSVR Worlds has good stuff in it. Mainly, what's the weird Breakout style one, the Pong style one, I should say. With the head, I can't remember what it's called now. Oh, Danger Ball. Yeah, Danger Ball, and that is just great fun. It should be a whole game in itself, no doubt about that. And the shark thing is good and effective for someone who hates the ocean and sharps a lot. But
I tried to play that and I screamed and threw the headset away and said no.
Well, my son wasn't even wearing the headset and he was shouting and screaming about it. I was like, I'm the one in the damn thing.
I can't stand anything underwater. So
yeah. The rest of it's a bit hit and miss, to be honest. It's like, I mean, that space one makes me feel sick playing that, which is unfortunate. Not many games have made me feel sick so far, which is something. So, oh, you sent me. Hang on, I'm going to break that through. Is that a Japanese release date for
yes,
that game, Gary?
Yes, it is.
Of what?
I'm
all
a release date is a release date. Hey, you can always import it.
10th of October, yeah, in Japanese. I want my cheesy English voice acting. Please put it out in English. I've been waiting 10 years at least for this game to come out. It's just one thing after another.
I'm looking back at Akuma. I thought you said Kuma. That's why I was so confused the entire time.
The bear?
Yeah, I thought the bear.
That would make as much sense as anything.
That was
like, when did Kuma know Hadouken? I sat here this entire time thinking, no, I can't be that stupid. I know I don't play many fighting games, but maybe he did have it at one point.
Anyway, I'll get on with the rest of my game. Super Hot VR. I played that. That is like one of the best things I've played in VR so far.
Yeah, I still need to buy that. I heard it's really good.
Yeah, like unresponsive in places, but man, do you get a workout in that one. It's just fucking great fun, and it makes you feel like Keanu Reeves in the late 90s with the whole slow-mo grabbing guns and shit like that. Great stuff. But yeah, again, need to be kind of not tired to play it half the time. my face in the front of the whole guard of the VR was all sweat covered by the end of it.
That's definitely a thing for PSVR. The sweat.
Yeah. Yeah, one way or the other. Either from that or because you start feeling ill from something. Hustle Wings VR though, that was like the opposite end of it. It was really chill. It's the most chill VR experience, and it's very immersive because you're in these big, like, weird themed pool halls playing pool. You can play online like that and everything. It's so chill, more fun than actual pool. And you know, as long as you're drinking in bottled beer, you're fine. You can drink while you do it. And that's the
only problem I have with VR is it's like when I'm getting thirsty, it's like want to drink.
Yeah. Yeah, I started employing straws on a regular basis because it's easier. It's like trying to sort of remember where you put stuff so you don't have to sort of take the headset off again and go, where is it? There it is. Okay, there it goes. But yeah, that Playroom VR stuff was good. You know, you mentioned, Gary, but they were doing that Astrobot Rescue, which is like a full version of one of the games in the Playroom.
I can't wait for that game. I can't wait for it so much.
Yeah,
I said, that's my favorite VR experience so far that I've played. And I played like 2 levels.
Yeah, playing that mini version of it in Playroom VR is really good. So yeah, I'd like more of that.
Oh yeah. I can't wait. VR is really good. It's my mate bought his VR recently. And I'm gonna buy a Farpoint next week so we can play in co-op.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, see, like I love VR too.
Yeah.
I just feel like VR is one of those things where almost every game is identical.
Yeah.
At least through the viewpoint of it. Like you can't really do a third person game in VR. Like I don't even know how it would work. Like it's just weird to me. Like I would love more like real time strategy games. I think will work phenomenal in VR.
Oh yeah, there was one that I reviewed a while back that was quite fun. It wasn't great, but
yeah, to me, I just feel like VR is very limited from its point of view, which makes sense.
Have you tried Mike Biffle's Volume as a game on there? Because that had a VR update for free.
Yeah.
Like, basically, because the game is like Metal Gear Solid VR missions normally, right? As a game. when it goes into the VR mode, Coda, I think they call it, is basically you're playing as someone else, like the enemies, one of the head honchos of the enemies, like re-simulating the game you play in the normal mode, but it's all in front of you in a virtual space, almost like it's on a table, yeah? So you see the levels on a table, and you can tilt the table up, down, left, right, whatever, so you can get different angles like that, but it's there in front of you. So it makes a very different way of playing it. It's like, I really enjoyed that. It's a very smart way to change it up a bit.
Yeah, I think this is why, in my personal opinion, the biggest showcase for VR is going to be Dreams.
Oh yeah, Dreams is going to be insane, especially if the creation tools have VR.
Oh, they do. And from what they told me, you can create stuff in VR, and a lot of it is a lot easier because you can use the move tools to craft and carve shit out to create whatever objects.
Well, yeah, you saw that video this week of them making Sheeta's head. They were using the wands in that, and that was amazing, the stuff they were doing there. So. Yeah,
and to me, that's going to be the biggest showcase because now anybody can make whatever VR game that they want. And if they think they can make a third-person shooter in VR, we're going to see if they can. If it's even possible.
I think so far the biggest letdown of it is just that it can't handle 3D video very well. It's very grainy, very like that. Even the good stuff that's really made for it is like, I mean, if you go on YouTube 360 videos and stuff like that, they have to be like 4K or 8K to even be like halfway presentable.
I'll be honest, I love watching I love watching roller coaster videos in VR on YouTube.
Yeah, but like there are games. As a result, there are like experiences that are on PSVR that cost money that are simply unacceptable at the level they are.
Believe me,
Chernobyl. Did you try that Chernobyl game? Or not game? Yeah. It's like a tour of Chernobyl. I thought that'd be interesting if that works. And it's fucking awful. It's like I don't get how that passes for being anything because it's like.
No, I've tried some stuff. A buddy of mine, he got the Spider-Man VR experience, the Spider-Man Homecoming one.
Yeah,
that was right.
I don't know.
It was free though, so wasn't it?
Yeah, for free, that's fine. Yeah, if it's free, I don't mind. But
the Justice League one, absolute trash. That's like $4.99, I think.
Yeah, that actually charges money.
Yeah.
Hey, at least it's not as bad as the Ghostbusters one, which was like 11 quid and is like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
trash. The Stranger Things was the one for Stranger Things was like free, I know, but that was like lame as all hell.
I remember watching Angry Joe when the Ghostbuster thing came out. Yeah, because it got a stealth release, didn't it? It wasn't really announced.
Yeah.
I saw him on Twitch going, "Oh my god, Ghostbusters on the store." He's like, downloaded it. Cannot record. Okay, so he spent like half an hour, I think it was, trying to get his recording set up so he could stream it. He was streaming the whole thing as he was setting it up. Half an hour after finally getting it working, he beat the game in like 5 minutes.
Wow. Wow, that would be enough to go. Yeah. Fuck that noise.
Yeah.
But there were, going back to the game side of stuff, there was stuff that was, and even actually, with the video stuff, there was cool stuff. Like there's a sample thing of like WWE when they went and did 3D bits for Backlash and WrestleMania, and they are weirdly well done. It's like, I mean,
and that's fantastic. Like I want more of that shit. Like what they're doing with the World Cup right now.
Oh yeah, I
still
need to
a part of the stands.
I keep missing that. Yeah. Anyone know when the next match is? Because I want to watch it.
They're every day, dude. There's 4 games.
I missed it every.
It's like 3 games a day. It's like, but yeah, the BBC usually has 1 or 2 a day, and they're the ones that got the VR apps. So just look at the BBC's fixtures.
I think they start that's 7 a.m. for you.
Yeah. Again, it suffers from the problem with the main picture view is very blurry and grainy. But they know this clearly because they're up in the top. They give you like a plasma screen above your director's box, so you can see the game on the actual TV. But it is kind of cool to like be able to see like all the other things you don't normally get to see whilst watching on television. So that's kind of cool. I don't really like the behind the goal view because it doesn't fit with like the director's box approach they're giving you. like it looks like you're like a mouse in a tunnel behind the dog.
Yeah, my only fear with this is they're gonna catch on and they're gonna start charging people for those seats.
Until
pretend like they're in the game.
Yeah, until the quality is good enough, I don't think they get away with it.
And then all of a sudden you'll see like the stadium is empty and everybody's like at home watching it in VR instead.
Talking of which, now if we're going to talk bad VR games, I'm getting an echo reverb from someone.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Hear myself. Yeah, I played a football-based VR game that I've still got to put a review out for, but I really don't know how because it's so poorly made. Basically, what you do is your feet are the ones, but they're also how you run at the same time. So you have to go like do a running motion with your hands, to make your feet move forward, and you've got to turn your head, and you think and you have to stand up for this for it to work, yeah. And you just end up being really imbalanced by it all because you're running and moving one way in VR, but you're not really going that way. But your body thinks you are, and then if you move like in real life, move in any way, shape, or form, you just go, "Oh shit, I'm going to fall over." And I honestly nearly fell over so many times. And then afterwards, I think I got like 3 touches in the entire thing, and shooting is bollocks. And oh my god, I get that people think, oh, there's a way to do it. But there must have been a simpler thing they could have done, like a penalty shootout thing, or just something like that, because it's awful stuff.
Why could they just let you control it with the controller and then have it in VR with your head moving around?
Because you'd have died, I think. Again,
you know what they should have done? They should have like come with a strap where you strap the move controllers to your feet and then you play like that.
Do you know what? I was tempted to do that. Have elastic bands on the back triggers, because that's what you need, really, to kick and see what happened. But I guarantee I would have just flung one of them at the television or something, and it wouldn't be it, really.
Your kid comes in, you like kick him in the head.
Yeah. Playing Super Hot, I must have done that about 4 times because he just doesn't get personal space at times, and he didn't see. Obviously, it still doesn't get. I can't see him when I'm doing it. That, and so of course, in Super Hot you're having to reach out all the time to punch people or shoot people or throw stuff at people like that, and at times I'd hear this funk like that with the wand, and so thankfully the end of those are soft, but it's like still.
Your cat watches you, thinks you've completely gone off the deep end. It's like, who's going to feed me now?
The cat stays out, thankfully, so it's like always I played a bit of Resi 7 in VR, which I think settings-wise is a bit of a pain in the butt to get it right, because otherwise the backgrounds come off really weird and blurry, but the front isn't. And yeah, I still not quite mastered that. It's amazing how different it looks in a 3D space, though. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, and how much easier it is to play in VR, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to shooting, because you use your head to aim. So much easier to get those headshots.
Yes, yeah, definitely agree there. But definitely more atmospheric too, because you have this weird 3D space. But those weird Capcom models, character models, do kind of ruin it a little bit, because they don't quite look like people, more like waxwork dummies come to life in that, and more so when it's in this 3D space. But yeah, it's still enjoyable. I think it's not the one I really am looking forward to playing through properly, but still, I'm glad to have tried it.
Yeah, if you're looking for zombie stuff, Arizona Sunshine, man, I heard that's a pretty damn good one. I haven't played it yet, but I heard it's fun.
I'm holding out hope that Resi 2 Remake has a VR mode as well, because baby, no. Just to actually be in Raccoon PlayStation. Oh man, that'd be like, that would just be a dream.
At this point, I think they need to start looking at re-releasing a lot of those old Wii games for VR, because they're gonna work. Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles, Capcom, get your ass up on that bitch. We need to remaster that for VR. right now.
Gun Survivor, go.
Yeah, even Sega, House of the Dead, bring that over to
Time
VR,
Crisis.
Man. Time Crisis. There you go. Time Crisis. VR will work perfectly fine. You use your body to go for cover this time instead of pressing on a button.
Point blank. Can I get a point blank?
Virtual Cop. Bring back Virtual Cop, damn it. Just my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think those light gun games can do pretty well in VR, personally.
I think they could, yeah. I don't know if it would ruin the difficulty on some of them, but it's hard
especially
to know.
Since you have that gun controller now, too, for VR.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
It's another highlight, which is also a normal PS4 game, and I don't think it'd be as good in normal PS4. Is Thumper, which is just
cool. Yeah, baby, it's so good.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed that. I've had Star Trek VR waiting for ages just to play. It was I had it rented before I even got the VR ready to prepare to play it. I just not got around to it. It's just
good luck, man. Good luck. It's one of the hardest fucking games I've ever played. That's like playing Microsoft's Flight Simulator without any tutorial. Good luck. Learn on the fly.
Which sounds ironic for a Ubisoft game that they don't give you a tutorial every 5 seconds.
There's just so much stuff you got to remember, man. So much.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, my wife's a Trekkie. She'll know.
And you have to work together. That's like the best co-op game you can experience because you will fail unless you're with somebody else. Yeah. And you all have to be on the same page. Like, that is communication 101. That's what that game is.
So, outside of VR, I reviewed a couple of things, and that I reviewed Prey's Mooncrash DLC, which is basically a roguelike, and yeah, it's a really good one. It takes everything that works in Prey, distills it down into a slightly smaller environment, but still gives you that free-form action. And it basically requires you to save 5 people in this simulation, so you can get the right data to take it back to find out what happened. But to do that, you basically going to fail a lot, and as you do in roguelikes. And the ultimate goal is to get all 5 people in one run, like that. So you'll each time you go through, you might get one person's run, then get another, maybe not the next one, but and you have to find the other people as well to get there first. So it's got legs in that regard, and things change up as well randomly within enemy placement, stuff like that. There's a fucking weird new enemy in the middle that's basically like some sort of, well, they call it a moon shark, so let's leave it at that and say what it is. Yeah, it's a bastard to beat anyway, and you kind of try your best to avoid it whenever it pops up.
Unless it's a shark that lives on the moon, I don't want
it. sort of not. Yeah, it's like it's still one of the typhoon. I can't typhoon. I don't know what those fucking names are called, but yes, it's one of those aliens, and it's still intimidating to say the least. But yeah, it's great fun to try and get through, and you obviously get points for every little thing you do, and you can then spend them to have like a better start the next time and give yourself more chance. Yeah, you just learn more as you go, and it's a lot of value. I mean, I saw 16 quid and I thought, if it's just one guy, this would be a very pricey for what it is, considering the main game's like a tenner in most places. But no, it's worth the money, in my opinion. It's done a great job.
I haven't found it. I've been waiting for that thing to go on sale. Can't find it at all.
Have you? Wow, praise
here the cheapest I've seen it is $29.99.
Wow. Oh man. Well, I have to get you some EU money, and it's honestly worth it. Prey is just as much. Just I liked the original.
Was it on sale again recently?
I think it was. I don't know if it still is.
Because I'm sure I saw it for a tenner.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was like $9.99 not long ago. Again, that's like with this one, we got the DLC code, and it was the wrong region, and for me, I still downloaded it. So I ended up buying the DLC myself in the end. So, but I feel that's fair because I hadn't paid anything towards the whole game, and it deserves supporting. It's
well, in a way, it's good. Maybe now they'll release like a bundle with the DLC, and I can just get that.
Yeah. So I think you need to kind of play the main game first to understand a lot of the extra stuff. That's because a lot of the mechanics are taken over and refined. I think it works better when you've had that experience of the main game, which is the main game is like a bit BioShock in space with more freedom, I find. Yeah, it's a good fun. Jurassic World Evolution, I played, which is basically theme park Jurassic Park, and it's great for having fun with making dinosaurs and looking at them and interacting with them like that. But beyond that, it's quite a shallow park management game. There are better examples of it out there.
Oh man, I was hoping for that Jurassic Park Evolution, I think it was called, back on the PC, where it was a theme park Jurassic Park game.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you can purposely break the fence, and the T-Rex will kill everybody in the park. That shit.
Yeah. You can do all that stuff. So,
I've been watching people play. It looks like fun.
But the problem is, like I said, when there's a lot put into the managing of the dinosaurs, not so much for everything else. It's like, how do we help our customers beyond the dinosaurs? I don't know. Put a store there, and then another store.
Some dinosaur burgers and dinosaur onesies.
And it's just very basic, a lot of it. And to get more dinosaurs and different types, you have to send people out on research missions, and that's just the same old shit over and over again. And it's a shame, but there's enough stuff. If you love dinosaur stuff, then it's great. You just get to muck around making dinosaurs and accidentally leave the gate open occasionally and let them go on the rampage, which is always good fun. Best part of any park-based game or management game is accidental, not accidental destruction.
By the way, you were talking about the first Prey, right? Yes.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I was going to say, the first Prey is £10 still.
Prey, as in Arcane's Prey, not Prey from the mid-2000s. That's
well, I thought we were on Prey 2.
Well, Prey is Prey 2, essentially. It's just that they've
it's £10 right now.
Yeah. Over here, it's £10. What, in digital form?
Digital, yeah.
Oh, there you go then. You got any account, haven't you, Gary?
Nope.
No?
Well, I have one, but I can't put money on it.
You don't? I'll talk to you after the show.
There is ways, Gary. There is ways.
There's ways.
No, but you got to remember, he's in America, so £10 will be like $100,000.
There's a way.
Look, I said a drastic way.
Right. Where were we? So yes, games. I played more Hitman because I finally got around to playing the extra DLC that came out after the release, which is the Patient Zero missions. And man, they were good fun. I like they did new stuff with those maps. Just that they can change so much with it is great. And yeah, it was fun to play that again. And I also got to play Sniper Assassin from Hitman 2, which is like now a co-op sniper game, where you can sort of talk to each other as you pick out targets, making sure you don't get noticed and alerting anyone while you're doing it. It's a nice spin on what they did with the last one. I think it was the last one or Absolution, one of the two where they did that. Yeah,
sounds like the Sniper Elite series where you had the spotter and the sniper, and the spotter, their job was literally just to go around the map trying to mark things so the person that's sniping can know where they're going.
Do you remember the arcade machine that had that? Where it actually had the sniper scope?
Oh yeah,
I think silent scope. Yeah,
silent scope.
That was it. And I used to love that. That's the sort of game it reminds me of as well. But you stay in one spot, but you're seeing the whole map. And it's just sort of watching what people's actions are. You've got to take out the bodyguards before you take out the main guys. And if you alert any of them, they'll go run in for various exits. Basically, you're not allowed to let anyone at the main three leave, and there's lots of ways to make things look like accidents still, just with shots, and you can make sure people get hidden by the way shooting them at the right time as they pass something. It's great fun. It just makes me happy that more Hitman is coming so soon, and great stuff. Great stuff. I got Rise of the Tomb Raider finally because I thought, well, I kind of want to be able to play the next one.
I know how you feel.
So it's at first it was like I really can't be bothered with this. It's just it feels a bit anticlimactic. I think it probably doesn't help that we played the likes of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy and Uncharted 4 since I last played the last Tomb Raider. But it grows on you. I know after a while, there's some good stuff in there later on, and it's enjoyable to go around. I don't think it's great, by any stretch of the imagination, but it's good. It's good fun, a good time to sort of explore around, do the tombs and stuff. But there's just too many of those instant death scenarios where it's just like, where it's not forgiving enough. I find it sometimes it's just like, here's the button. What? Oh, you're dead. Like, that's it. There's no response time at all. It's basically die once, figure it out, maybe get it right the second time, sort of thing. It just breaks the flow when those bits happen. And I much prefer when you're just doing the tomb stuff and the combat. Yeah, it's on and off. Like I said, though, enjoying it. There's lots of stuff there to like. You can dress Lara up in like old Tomb Raider costumes, so that's cool. So that's cool. You can wear the old orange parka jacket from Tomb Raider 3. So yeah, great. What else do we play? I told you this is a big list, a big list. Fallout 4. I started playing Fallout 4 again. I think it was inspired by the whole talk of 76, and I think I mentioned a few weeks ago. It's like for some reason my old save data doesn't want to work with this one, so I started a new run, and basically because all the mod stuff is there now that you can use. I thought, well, I don't care about trophies or anything, so great, let's just try some mods. The nighttime mod in that is brilliant. It proper make nighttime dark, like actual real life, and then it stretches the days out better, and storms happen, and it really changes up the game nicely. So I had fun re-explore. I've gone different ways than I did the last time to places. Yeah, it's still a really fun game, and I think it deserved a lot better than it got. And clearly, not a vocal minority that were really, really angry about Fallout 4 because people still give a high shit about Fallout 76. So, ain't over. And outside that, just like stuff like Super Mario Odyssey and that, which I finished, and it was all right. Yeah. My son finished it as well. He finished it before I did because that's all he played at the time. But it's now become his favorite game. So after Knack and Knack 2 being his favorite games, he's at least going up. Yeah. So lots of games, lots of time. There's other stuff I've got to play. I've got to play the VR version of Kona, and I've got the Exorcist VR to play as well. Which I'm intrigued to see how they go. So of course, with kids at home, not really the kind of thing you can play because you can't regulate what they see when you can't see what they're seeing. So it's not the best thing. But yeah, I play PES a lot. I always do. That's normal. Right, so yeah, all them games. I suppose we'll go on to the predictions league. So we did the results of the last one and said we'd wait to do it this week. So we've got 2 games coming out this week that we are going to do predictions for. They are The Crew 2, Electric Boogaloo, and The Awesome Adventures of Captain Planet Spirits. And first up then, The Crew 2 by Ubisoft, which I was looking forward to, I have to say, until I played Onrush, and now it just feels like another racer to me, and I much prefer smacking about playing SSX Tricky in cars. Gary, what do we think will happen with the Crew 2 score?
70.
70. That's making bank, Ubisoft score. That is all the 70 games they have usually get about that. They're the ones that make the money.
That's the average, man. As long as you're average, you're making money.
Yeah. Weirdly, that's it. Ubisoft have this sort of way of making that the actual successful money-making point. Just good to them. I would say, well, if Onrush gets 77, then I think this should get less. So 74. Ben?
68.
68.
How dare you be so close to me?
Wow, that's a good spread, though. Good spread. So next we have The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is the sort of mid-episode between seasons of The Life is Strange. We don't even know there'll be reviews for this, really, but they send out early code for it, so I guess so. They're expecting it. This is a tricky one because no one really knows how it'll play, what's in it at all, but it's just that it will tie in with the Life is Strange universe, which to me makes me think it will do all right scores-wise. So I'm going to go 79. Ben?
I think it's going to have a really dark turn, so I'm going to go with 85.
85. It's going to be miserable. So high scores. No, I totally get you. Just to remember two things we can mention after this. There's a mini topic, if you will. But Gary, what are you saying?
74.
74. Good score on the doors. Right, so we'll find out next week if they were correct. So over E3, lots of stuff was happening, and we missed two quite significant anniversaries over that time. At that point, on June 10th, which was when we had to endure some god-awful conferences, Metal Gear Solid 4 went and turned 10, would you believe? It's like just great. And The Last of Us on June 14th turned 5. So yeah, amazing that those two have had that. I mean, especially Metal Gear Solid 4. That I just think of all the things that have happened in the 10 years since then. It's crazy. I still remember playing that game, living above a pub, playing it at like 3-4 in the morning, smoking like a chimney, and drinking the proverbial thing.
You're smoking pot?
No, just cigarettes. I had alcohol, so it's fine.
So it's fine.
It's fine. Yes. So I still remember it very fondly. As I do with every Metal Gear mainline game, to be honest. There's, no matter what the general consensus is with something, I'm like, yeah, I really like that one. That one especially just for the end stuff, was the microwave tunnel and the big boss and just everything Ocelot did in that game. He was one of my favorite villains who wasn't a villain, and it's kind of sad that it's a very different state of affairs 10 years later. Who would have thought it? 10 years later, Kojima wouldn't be doing it, and we don't look like we'll get a mainline Metal Gear Solid game ever again. So yeah, and The Last of Us, 5 years nearly to the day that it came out, that we got to see that trailer for Last of Us 2, and it's mad. I went back and looked at the trailers for E3 for the first game. It's like, man, night and day, and you consider how good The Last of Us looked at that point. It's amazing that game is, despite its high graphical value, is already looking a little dated because of what Naughty Dog can do. Yeah. So yeah, those two are nice and good one. Any words on any of those, Gary?
Well, Last of Us, I've already said so much. I think it's the best game ever made. To this day, I still think that. 5 years, wow. It actually feels like it's been a lot longer than 5 years, to be honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's a weird thing because it's a cross-gen thing, isn't it?
If you had said, Last of Us was 10 years ago, I'd been like, yeah. Man, it's been so long.
5 years seems so short. That's how long it takes Rocksteady to release a game.
The same. I mean, you think in that year, the same with also turning 5, or have turned 5, like to Bioshock Infinite and Dragon's Dogma and GTA 5.
But wait, 5 years, that's as long as it takes for Rockstar to just announce a game.
Yeah, this is it. Which points me actually, in August it'll be Final Fantasy 14 will be Realm Reborn will be 5 as well.
Yeah, they'll be doing an anniversary event again. They do one every year.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, though, I'm gonna have sorry for going too much into it, but they're never gonna beat the second year's anniversary. In my opinion, that has got to be the best thing that any game has done, really. Because what they did was they recreated their offices in the game. And you got teleported in there, and some of the development staff had been recreated into NPCs.
Oh, I remember that. I did that. That was fun.
Yeah. And they basically they said there was a bug in the game, and that's why it appeared in the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of these days I'll play it, I'm sure.
But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4, same. It feels like it's been so long now. Yeah, the console or the game that you bought the console for, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You paid $600 to play Metal Gear Solid 4.
And GTA 4 to be fair as well, but
yeah. Yeah, it was back then. It was that time where this one game will sell your console, and that was the game.
Hell, I remember when I bought my PS3, and all I had was pain for the longest time. I really enjoyed 4. It's not my favorite, mostly because of how it all ends, but yeah, it was great to see everybody come back. You know, almost every question was answered. Like you said, your favorite villain isn't actually a villain. Same here. Is the true hero of the story.
Yeah.
We find out why Vamp is immortal. That was pretty cool. And, you know, in a way, I enjoyed that it was a scientific answer rather than, you know, a religious or spiritual answer. Which, in a way, that whole game kind of does. Except, I guess you can talk about fortune all you want. But, yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I love the boss fights in that game. Going back to Shadow Moses, of course, gave everybody chills, I'm sure.
Laughing Optimus as well was a good one. Just the whole having someone else with camo again, and she was
the camo suit mechanic I thought was brilliant.
Oh, man, yeah, that's just ridiculous.
You know, I loved the multiplayer in it. I did. I had plenty of fun in the multiplayer in that game. Early days. Later on, it became not so much fun.
You know, people found hacks to get that working again, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
But yeah, I don't know what Konami's doing. They should just re-release the true Metal Gear Solid collection with all Metal Gear games on the PS4.
I think the problem with 4 is, of course, it's a PS3 game through and through, which means, you know, it has to be remade properly, because otherwise it just ain't happening. Which means they have to get someone else to do it. Yeah, it's just they can trust anyone else with it at this point, I think. I
mean, like, they can release, you know, the Metal Gear Solid collection as well with 3 and Peace Walker and 2. You did it on the PS3. Why can't you do it on the PS4?
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't mind that at least one more time. Just one more time, so that we can take it into the next gen. Obviously, you know, we'll have backwards compatibility.
Come on, just look at Capcom, dude. They re-released the same game, like, on the same console 4 times.
Yeah, and they didn't even do it right one of the times. I mean, we know the Konami Silent Hill problem was that they didn't have the full code. That's why that was such a mess of a HD remake. So, but you know, they have it for this. So please make it before you lose it again. Which just because I honestly worry. Though I have copies of the game, I kind of worry about that.
My Legacy Collection's still sealed.
Ben.
What?
Ben. Sacrilege.
I'm going to sell it one day for lots of money.
Yeah, but for me, both of those games just feel a lot older than they are. Like, I don't know what it is, but 5 years for Last of Us.
Just so much has happened. Yeah, it's just you think when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, how much is different in just general landscape of gaming. But for me, I hadn't even gone out with my wife or spoken to my wife at that point. Like I didn't have any kids, I didn't have a house, and none of this stuff is. And yeah, it's crazy. And it just reminds me that when Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, and I was playing that as when my daughter was born, like days afterwards, and it's like going to the hospital to see her born, and then coming back later that night on my own and just playing Metal Gear Solid 5 again. It's just like, yeah, so to think so much changed between those two games at the same time. And don't you give me any sass about Metal Gear Solid 5 here. We've had that argument.
Well, I thought you were talking about 4, not 5. My bad.
4 and 5. Yeah.
Don't worry, though, Neil. When she goes to college, you'll get Metal Gear Solid 6.
No, you won't.
If you like, yeah. When she goes to adult college and Konami have dissolved and someone else has taken the license, they're like, Atari come back and like, yeah, we'll make Metal Gear Solid 6. It's like, what? So what were the other games about? And they're like, they just make.
Well, they're Space Invaders. We'll just make them Space Invaders.
They'll make that Metal Gear sequel that America made back in the day for the NES.
Metal Gear 2 Snakes Revenge.
They'll make a sequel to that one.
Metal Gear 2 Snakes Revenge, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I did.
I am feeling sleepy.
Yeah,
I think that was one of the lines where in that game where they just, before they fall asleep, they just say, "I'm feeling sleepy," and then fall asleep randomly. That's how you get past them.
I mean, I'm not going to mention it when it happens, but because I just don't want to spend too much time on it. But Altered Beast is going to be 30 in August. It makes me depressed that people still remember the game at this point, including myself.
That's because they forced it down our throats and everything they release.
It's like I got Retro Gamer this month's copy the other week, and it's a Mega Drive Genesis special thing, and it comes with like a bunch of stickers of Mega Drive stuff. And my daughter came up to me with it, like saying, "I want that one." I was like, "Oh no, because I'm going to keep these for me." I saw she was pointing to the Altered Beast wolf head, and I was like, "Oh no, you can have that one. That's fine." do what you will with that. But yes, God, yeah, I can't believe that game's so old.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Still. I don't get it.
Never a good game made with that name. That's the worst part. Okay, so let's do the call-outs and end-outs. So, Ben, do your fast-tracking running thing.
I want to shout out to Klaus at Phoenix Down Radio, shout out to RV and Pete at She Hills I Tank, shout out to Flatus and Shinta at Maelstrom Radio. I also want to shout out to Zyra, one of our static members on Pharmacy 14. Because you've listened to last week's podcast, if you listen to this week's podcast, give me a message and I'll buy you something at the Mog Station. You won't know this until you actually listen to the podcast, so just tell me what you want on the Mog Station and I'll buy you it. And a shout out to Alfonso.
Yeah, that's fair. Excellent. I agree with that. Do miss a bit of Alfonso. And of the other guys, of course. We miss our Chris and we miss our Tim. But they will be back on the anime podcast, which you probably heard before this. But even though this is recording the day before that. Such is the weird time traveling things of it. And here I am talking about it, even though I'm not on it. So I won't be. I will return next week, and with for whatever I suppose more gaming talk. Maybe something interesting will happen that isn't people whining about crossplay next week, and we can talk about that instead. That'd be great. Maybe it'll be one of the games that come out this week that really interests us somehow. We shall see. Gary, say your thing.
Yeah, shout out to you guys for having me on. Listeners, as always, of course, Chris, Tim, Miss you guys. Miss that you're not here. Alfonso, as always, my boy. I hope you haven't stabbed anybody this week.
We cannot promise nothing.
But if you have, I can't wait to hear about it. Pitch your story to some anime studio. They'll make a show out of it. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Can't complain. I'll say the usual. If you happen to be on iTunes and fancy giving us a review, please do, because it would be nice if someone could do that, and it helps. You can find us at Pod Unchained on the old Twitter. You can email any of us at the relevant addresses. And we'll be talking more PlayStation next week. Until then, it is, as ever, tatty bye.